Welcome back to the last Code With Me video for Chapter 2. In this case, we're going to be taking our code that we've written throughout these Code With Me sessions and run them through the validator. If that works, we're going to go through and make a few modifications to check some errors and troubleshoot them. So again, the first thing is, if your bracket system doesn't tell you the validation process, which you shouldn't rely on, it's just a good little hint, I would recommend going to validator.w3.org and taking a look and seeing what exactly is available. So just like the presentation, if you go here directly, you'll see that it has three options: validate by URI, file upload, and direct input. What we're going to do is be running the file upload because we have a file when we want to upload it. You can use direct input to copy and paste items if you absolutely want to, and it will be able to take your input and validate it. But since we don't want to copy and paste everything we have, especially once you have multiple files, then we want to do the file upload. So go to File Upload, choose your file. In this case, it is Chapter 2 right here, and click Check. Hopefully, if everything went well, it's going to say, hey, document checking completed, no errors or warnings to show. Nice green box. So if you have a big green box that says this right here, that means that your document did check out as valid and you can submit it for a grade. If you didn't, well, let's mix up a few things to try to make this produce an error and then troubleshoot it backwards. I'm going to go away for just a minute, make a modification to the code, and then re-upload it, and we'll try to find our error. Alright, okay, so I've made some modifications to the file. I'm back at the validator. I've selected the file. Let's re-upload it and see what errors we produce. And well, we have a few errors and a bunch of different information. So what does this mean? Well, the first thing that we should notice is errors found while checking this document as HTML 4.01 transitional. Chances are, unless you have experience, you don't know what that means. The primary issue of this is that we did not specify the doc type. Well, look right here, doc type HTML, isn't that what it is? Oh, wait a second, we forgot to put in the exclamation point at the very beginning. Okay, let's save, let's go back to the validator. Okay, already has the file, let's check. And okay, the big red box is gone, but now we have a few more boxes. What does this mean? Well, the first one, let's take a look. Stray in tag in from line 10, column 24. Well, let's go back to line 10 in our code. Line 10, thank you, line numbers right here. And it says hello world with a paragraph tag. Well, that's right, isn't it? Well, it states here column 24 to column 27. That basically means that once we go over 27 spaces, we find, oh, an in tag. That's interesting. Okay, well, the error says stray tag in. Well, in is not a tag, so let's correct that to a closing p tag for our proper pair. All right, save. The next one, saw the opening comment statement within a comment, probable cause, nested comment, not allowed. What does this mean? Well, line 21, column 13. Line 21, line 21. Okay, well, that's a proper comment, and it's inside of a proper comment. So what is the issue? Why is this giving me the error? Well, it may not be quite obvious, but if you take a look at line 15, you'll see that we have a starting comment, and this is the comment section, but then the ending section down here only has one dash, which also, if you take note, everything else below it is grayed out, which basically means that the browser is producing this as a comment because it doesn't know where the comment ends. The next time a comment ends is right here, and you can't put a comment inside of a comment. So let's just add the next dash. We save. Okay, that's 2 down and 1 more to go. This document is not mappable to XML 1.0 due to 2 consecutive hyphens in a comment. Well, the chances are you don't know what that means, but that basically meant that line, or the line 21, column 13, the exact same error up here, that's just saying that you can't nest a comment in a comment. Okay, that's perfectly fine. So we make sure we save, we go back to the validator, go back a page, already has the file selected. Chapter 2, good. Let's check. So now we have some more errors. Whoa, that's a lot more errors than we expected. I thought we fixed them. Well, apparently not. So let's go through the first error right now. In tag H2 seen, but there were open elements. Line 17. Well, let's go to line 17. H1 tag. That's not an H2 tag. Oh, right, because H2 is right here. All right, let's correct that to H1, so proper pairing. But wait a second, this is a secondary heading. This shouldn't be an H1, the H1's up here. So instead, let's undo that back to H2 and correct the first one to H2. That gives us a proper pairing and we're good to go. All right, next error, element LB not allowed as a child element of P in this context. From line 19, column 13. Well, let's go to line 19 right here, and LB. Well, I guess a lazy developer decided that line break will be LB. Well, that's not line break. BR is line break. Okay, that should take care of that. Next, self-closing syntax used in a non-void HTML element. That's interesting. From line 19 to column 13. Well, this says LB. Well, LB is not a tag, and we just fixed it. So technically, that error does not need to be worried about. Okay, next one. In tag P is seen, but there were open elements. From line 19, column 297. That's pretty high. Well, what does this mean? Let's take a look. Line 19. There's no P tag. There's a closing P tag, and there's an opening P tag on line 18, and a line break. That must relate to the LB tag up here. Not much we can do about that right now, so let's hold off. Next, unclosed element LB. Well, we just fixed that, so hopefully that shouldn't be an issue anymore. Let's make sure we go up here and save. We go back to the validator. And since it doesn't have our file for us, let's just go through and reselect our file for some odd reason. Chapter 2, where are you? Chapter 2, there you are. Okay, and check. And what happens? Well, we have a nice big green box. Document checking completed, no errors or warnings to show. Well, what does that mean? It means we have a valid file, but does that mean that everything is perfect and correct? Well, not necessarily, because although I would not recommend a comment after the HTML, that does not mean it's invalid. It's just bad practice. Will the validator also pick up if I have heading or block elements on the same line as P tags, or pretty much what if I have the whole entire document on just one line? Will the validator care about that? Let's try it and find out. Okay, that should be enough. Okay, so in the body I have 3 sections. Let's just take care of this. And why not? Let's just get rid of this line. Let's go to this line. And now everything in the body, except for one comment, is now on one line. That is line 9. If we go back and check the file, is selected. Let's click check. And it gives us the exact same validation message, which is great. It doesn't have the same flexibility and readability as our previous format. So although the validator will tell you exactly what is and what isn't correct, it doesn't tell you what is and what isn't best. Now, you may have noticed in this checker, you can actually choose a file inside the validator. That is perfectly fine, but there are a few issues with this. This may or may not take you back to the same page. This may or may not validate your code as well. So what I recommend is going back a page to the primary setup so that you can reselect your file. All right, so that is the end of this validation Code With Me video. Hopefully, if you haven't already, please go ahead and get started on the assignments. And if you have questions about this or the assignments, please email me or send me a tweet, and I'll get back to you the best way I know how. Until then, talk to you later.